Color pairings are awesome! How's it going, everyone? You ever wonder why some colors just look so awesome together? Like some color pairings specifically just really captivate you and capture you unlike any other color pairings that you see. Some colors just look so awesome together. Like you can't really put your finger on it, but Christmas just gives me all kinds of cheer. And not because of Sandy Claus and Rudolph and Frosty. No, it's the complementary color pairing of red and green. It's the complementary color pairing of purple and yellow. I just love complementary colors. And if you're familiar with color theory and the color wheel, then you know all about this stuff. But for those of you who don't, today we're going to go through some color pairings that I put together that are entirely based off of this principle. Just to catch some of you up if you're not sure what I'm talking about. Any two colors on the color wheel, like this one I picked up from Deco Art. Thank you, I stole it for this video. For you guys, I did it for you. You'll notice that all the colors are arranged in this beautiful sort of rainbow circular pattern. The complementary pairings are any that sit across from each other directly. So you got red and green, you got violet and yellow, you got blue and orange, etc., etc., etc. And whenever you do that, whenever you have two colors that are on the opposite ends, they are really going to be very charged, dynamic, and fun. And, you know, nice. Like this background is nice, isn't it? But today we're not going to talk about those main primary colors, you know, like your reds and your greens. I'm giving you three different color pairings that I put together from the Sherwin-Williams paint color catalog of those sort of offshoot colors. So red, orange, and blue, green, red, violet, and yellow, green. You get it. So we're going to talk about them right now, and maybe you can find a use for them in your home. And just as a quick disclaimer, before you go and buy these paint colors, I'm not going to give you the whole test your colors spiel right now. But what I will say is complementary pairings, they're going to be very a lot. So you don't want a lot of both colors in the same space. Normally, you'll have kind of a primary color and then a secondary color. Kind of like an 80-20, maybe a 70-30 split. That's usually a safe bet. And if you are going to go 50-50, then just have a little of both in your space. So maybe not your whole wall painted these colors, maybe little accessories or artwork. That's how you can incorporate these colors in a much simpler fashion. So let's get that color wheel up. Maybe do some spins. We're gonna start with yellow-orange as the first color. And I'm opting for colors that I actually like to use in real life. These aren't just the most vibrant colors that exist, but they're pretty saturated, so no grays here today. Honey Pot is my choice, and it is part of the Emerald Designer Edition, so I do believe you can only get this color in emerald paint. Thanks a lot, Sherwin-Williams. But I do love it. I think it's a beautiful color, very creamy, a little bit buttery, a 75 LRV, which means it's quite bright. So this is a great color if you want to really bring in some happy life into a space on your walls, because it will reflect a lot of light back into your space. And it also brings in that warmth and that coloration, so it's not going to feel too soft and kind of lifeless. That little blend of orange and yellow, kind of a goldy color, really beautiful. And then of course, what is the complementary pairing for yellow-orange? It's blue-violet. So sort of that in-between color between blue and purple. And for that color, we're going with Perfect Periwinkle. I love periwinkle as a color. Just that really bluified version of purple. This one definitely brings in a lot more of a blue feeling to it. But when you see these two together, you can already see how complementary pairings can bring so much vibrancy and excitement to a color palette. It's a very handy trick to know about, because even if you don't really know paint colors that well, you can at least base your design off of one of these pairings and then kind of go from there and sort of branch out. But this is a very fun pairing between warm and cool, super complimentary. I can already see all the compliments coming in to the comment section. Compliment and compliment, two different spellings. Don't confuse yourself. The next one I want to talk about is yellow-green. And this is a color that I love. It's not for everyone because it does have a green undertone that is pretty apparent, but I love that about it because I'm obsessed with green and I love warmer colors altogether. This combines both. Best of both worlds, baby. It's celery. Not a very exciting name. My partner hates celery, which has always been kind of odd to me because celery is such a passive flavored thing, yet she can taste it no matter how little of it is in the dish. It's a talent, honestly. Celery really gives you a very light, kind of effervescent green, and it just injects this beautiful, warm, golden yellow into the mix. Not enough to sort of pull it strongly into yellow territory, but anytime you give this color a lot of light, it really sparkles and comes to life. Beautiful, beautiful color. And of course, when we're going with yellow-green, the complementary pair pairing is red violet or red purple. And for this, I went with thistle, which is a beautiful plant that is very much a big part of Scottish heritage, which I'm a big fan of as well. And purple and green just in general is a great pairing. So here we have thistle, which is sort of just that redified purple, but it's not too vibrant and punchy, not like the pink behind me. It has a bit of a desaturated look to it, which I think will make it a little easier for people to digest in terms of using it in their space. But again, you can see when these two colors are together, they just have this connection that can't be denied. And what's interesting here is normally the lighter color is probably what I would recommend as your wall color or the main color of the pairing. But because thistle has that desaturated, muted look to it, it's a little toned down. You could flip the script and have that be your main room color, especially if it's a secondary space or like a bedroom or a dining room, and then have celery as sort of that little accent, whether it's pieces of furniture or the fabrics and textiles and drapery that you use, all of that. So it's kind of a interchangeable pairing, unlike maybe the last one and maybe the next one. Well, let's see together. So the last pairing involves blue-green to start, and I went for a very, very light color this time, which is a light pastel called Glimmer. Beautiful name, very simplistic. It's also pretty simple as a color. It has a 78 LRV, so it's the lightest color we've talked about today, and it just has this very soft, elegant blend of green and blue and a lot of white. It is kind of in that off-white territory. I think it's so pale that you can use it in larger spaces, in larger doses. Just keep in mind that it's blue-green, right? So you will see that undertone. As soon as you have a ton of light in the space, maybe it'll wash out that coloration a little bit. You won't really see those nice undertones, which is a shame. But the benefit of it being a lighter color in general is the fact that it will reflect more light, making your space feel nice and airy. We're of course matching it up with a red orange, and the color that I chose is actually more of a rust color. It has a bit of a red undertone mixed in, but I think it's more along the lines of an orangey brown, just so that it's a little more usable and accessible to more people. The color is called Oak Creek, and what I like about it is it fits in with the modern contemporary gravitation towards earthier colors. Those browns, those terracottas, those rusts. This one isn't as pinky as some of the other colors that have been really popular this year. It has a little more of that orange aspect to it, but there's red in there as well. You could go even more red by picking spiced cider as another option too. You know, that really takes things into another direction. Or you can even go with copper wire, which is more of a true red orange. Doesn't really have a ton of brown to sort of mute it. So really you can go either way there. Varying levels of intensity and saturation. But I think Oak Creek is where I want to land for this pairing in particular. Just a very interesting combination of light and dark, cool and warm and earthy, sky and land. That's sort of how I approach this pairing. It turns out that color wheels are actually pretty handy. So I want to challenge you guys to give me a complimentary pairing from your favorite paint brand. Let me know down below 2 paint colors that are complementary, opposite ends of the color wheel from any paint company that you like to use. I want to check them out and maybe I'll feature them in a future video. That'd be fun. And also be sure to check this video out next.